Hey guys, it's Meredith. Welcome back to my channel. So if your TikTok For You page looks anything like mine, you are deep into book talk, and more specifically off-campus Briar U TikTok.
Me starting the off-campus series. Me forcing my roommate to read it and making a wall chart for all books.
Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all. People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. Can you practice what you...
I had never heard of these book series before having TikTok, but I swear that every book talker that I follow recommends these books so hard. So I knew that I had to read them, and I thought that it would be fun to take you guys along with me for the journey. So for this video, I decided to just focus on the off-campus series, which are 4 books written by Elle Kennedy that include The Deal, The Mistake, The Score, and The Goal. And it's so hard to keep those book titles straight because they're so similar. This series focuses on 4 guys on the Briar University hockey team. Hockey is the big sport at Briar University, and so these guys are very well known, very attractive, and all of the girls on campus basically want to be with the Briar University hockey players. So in each book we focus on one of the hockey players and their love interest, and we get the point of view from each. The first book, which is The Deal, focuses on Garrett Graham and Hannah Wells. Garrett is the star hockey player. He is this hotshot guy, and Hannah Wells is a music major who's very focused on her studies. He ends up failing a test and really needs her to tutor him so he can stay on the team, and at first she's really hesitant, eventually decides to do it, and from there a romance blossoms. So I wanted to finally update on what I think of The Deal, which is the first book in the off-campus series. I am loving this book so much more than I thought I would. I adore each and every character in this book. I love Hannah. I love Garrett. Oh my god, he is the sweetest like baby angel. I love him. I love Allie, her roommate. I love the guys on the hockey team. I'm just so invested already in everyone, and it's just so good. I have less than 100 pages left. I'm 70% of the way through. I definitely wanted to update before then, but I just kind of kept reading and I couldn't really form coherent thoughts. I still can't, but this is the best I can do before I actually finish the book. One thing I will say is I wasn't expecting the book to go as deep as it did. There's definitely trigger warnings for abuse and sexual assault. That was something that was kind of shocking, I guess. But yeah, so I will see you when I'm finished. That girl is named Gabriella, and she's very nice.
That girl is named Gabriella. She's very nice.
That was so dumb. Please tell me you get that reference. Hey guys, so it is the next morning. I am about to leave for work, so sorry if I'm a little rushed. I did finish The Deal this morning, actually. I fell asleep last night and I loved it so much. I gave it 5 stars. I still had so much fun with it. I loved it. So I would highly recommend the first one. I hate Garrett's dad with like a burning passion. I mean, like I said, I don't want to give any spoilers away or anything, but like I was filled with such a rage when I was reading this one part of the book where he gets himself involved and he is just, oh, he's awful. So I also thought it'd be fun to kind of rank them as I go. So obviously right now my favorite book number 1 has to be The Deal because it's the only one I've read, and then I thought I'd list my favorite boy and my favorite girl because I've seen on TikTok a lot of people do that, so I thought that would be fun. So obviously Deal, Garrett, Hannah, everyone's in number 1 right now, starting off on a good note. So yeah, I will update you on where I am in The Mistake later. Like I mentioned, this book has some heavy topics, so I definitely recommend looking up trigger warnings before going into the book. Like I said, 5 stars. I thought it was really well done, really well written. Everything was just amazing. Garrett Graham is just chef's kiss. The next book in this series was The Mistake, which focuses on John Logan and Grace Ivers. John Logan decides that he really wants to be in a relationship and that he kind of messed it up with this freshman girl named Grace, and he decides to try to get her to like him, or as he says, try to woo her. Hey guys, so I'm in my car again. I just got off of work and it's raining outside, so instead of walking through it again, I thought I would just put it off and give an update as to where I am in The Mistake. I think I'm like 40% of the way through it, so almost halfway, and I like it. Not as much as the first one. It's just not capturing me the way that the first one did. The first one, it was pretty automatic. I was like hooked in it, and in this one, I find them a little boring. Grace is fine. Grace is like this cute little freshman girl. She says so many cringy things, like I guess thinks so many cringy things that have made me roll my eyes many times, but she's still funny. Like, I find her endearing, I guess. And Logan is also boring. I'm sorry. It's not that I dislike him. I'm not grasped by his story yet. He's just, I don't know what to think. If I had to rate it now, I would rate it probably like a 3.75 to a 4. It's the end of the school year, so I really don't have anything going on. So I think I'm gonna read tonight, and I hopefully will update when I'm further along. So yeah, the rain's kind of stopped, so I should probably head in. So I'm about 70% of the way through The Mistake. I'm not liking it as much as the first one. I am not the biggest fan of the characters. Logan's fine, I guess. I'm just not really that attached to him, and I really don't like Grace, so that is a big disappointment. I really liked her in the beginning, honestly. I thought she was really relatable, but that just kept going down. I also don't find their chemistry anything to like write home about. I really liked in The Deal how we got to see Hannah and Garrett's relationship develop, and we don't really get that in this. Like, it feels like he wants to be with her just because he wants to be in a relationship. The book is shorter and I'm having a much harder time getting through it, which is really sad because I really wanted to like this one, but I'm going to push through. It's sitting at like a 3-star rating right now, so I'm liking it more than I'm disliking it, but it's still like kind of middle of the road. But I'm really excited to get to the next one because I saw that that one focuses on Dean, and we're getting to see more of him throughout this book, and I find him so funny. He's hilarious, and so I'm really excited to read his book. And I know that the girl is Allie, which is Hannah's roommate. Loved her, so I think I'm going to like the third book a lot more, especially since we've seen those characters a little more. But right now, this one is just not really doing it for me. So like I said, I'm gonna keep reading. I'll probably finish it like today or tomorrow or something like that, and then I'll kind of let you know my final thoughts, and then hopefully start whatever the next one is. Is it The Risk? I don't even know. I didn't look before hopping on here. Hey, so sorry about the appearance that's happening right now. The hair, the lack of makeup, it's atrocious. I'm sorry. I said I never gave an update on my final thoughts about The Mistake, and so I decided to rate it 3 stars. I don't know. I didn't like Grace. I thought she was really immature, and I thought that she would just kind of get upset about things that I don't know, that were just kind of stupid, and she expected him to do these big romantic gestures constantly, and that was just irritating to me. I just think that's unrealistic. It wasn't as fun for me to read about, but I did still enjoy the book. It definitely had some cringy parts, one of those being when, this doesn't even have to do with Grace, but when Hannah decides to go on a run with Dean and Logan, and then she just starts belting out "Take Me to Church." That was probably one of the weirdest scenes I've ever read, and I don't know if it was supposed to be like quirky, you know, but it was not. It was very weird. As for rankings, everything in The Mistake is number 2, and then everything remains the same with the deal, because I absolutely loved that. And the mistake, not so much. You still see all of the characters, so you still see like Garrett and Hannah, and then Dean. I loved him, and so even though that I'm like reading from the point of view from characters I don't really care about, like I'm still seeing glimpses into the ones I do. And so I think that kind of made it a little more enjoyable for me. I ended up liking Grace in the beginning. I thought she was really funny, and her little rambles she goes on, especially about Ted Bundy, were just kind of relatable, because when I feel really awkward or don't know what to say, I'll either just kind of sit quietly or I can't stop talking. And I know that she is younger, she's a freshman, but she just felt so immature, especially when compared to Hannah from the first one. Plus, John Logan wasn't super different from Garrett. I mean, I liked Garrett so much more, but I just felt that, you know, they both wanted to be pro hockey players. They both had some family issues at home dealing with their dads. And so I just think that it was too much like the deal, but not executed in the same way. And I just didn't have the same attachment to the characters. I didn't feel their chemistry as hard as I did in the deal. And so I found myself just comparing constantly throughout. And so for that reason, it ended up being a 3-star. So I still liked it, but I just wasn't as invested as I was in the deal. So it was a bit of a disappointment, but I still did enjoy the overall story. Next was the score.
Hey pals, I got so excited to talk about Dean and Allie that I forgot to tell you what the book is about. Basically, Allie comes over to the hockey team's house one night and Dean is the only one there. Long story short, things turn steamy and the two eventually start a friends with benefits situation when oh no they think they're catching feelings, which makes things complicated for them both. Okay, thanks for listening.
I did start The Score, which is the 3rd book, and I'm loving it. It is so good. I'm actually 83% of the way through. I definitely wanted to update way before then, but I just can't put it down. This book is so good. It has what I loved about the deal without being exactly like it. I mean, Dean is kind of the player on the hockey team. Like in all of the books, he's constantly like with some random girl. And then Allie is Hannah's best friend and roommate, which we see in the 1st book. There was a point where I was reading this yesterday where I don't know if I can say what it is without giving away spoilers. So I'll put a quick timestamp here if you don't want like any details about the book. Skip to it. But so there's a scene where Allie's ex-boyfriend Sean comes back into the picture for a hot minute. Well, he's like banging on the door, and he says just awful things to Allie, and Garrett and Hannah were there to see it and they kick him out, but she's just so upset and she asks for Dean, and then he comes over and it's just like the sweetest thing in the entire world. And I literally like smiled reading the book, and I am not usually a person who like read a book and be like I can't keep it more like inside, but in this book it just, I don't know, I love him. I think they could be contenders for like my favorite people, like my favorite couples, everything, because I love Allie, I love Dean, I love the story. I'm having so much fun with it that right now it's a 5-star book. I just finished filming a video, like a sit-down video. It's been a while since I've done that, so I finished The Score by Elle Kennedy. I cannot remember which book I'm on ever. Like the names are all so similar. But anyway, so I finished Dean and Allie's book and I loved it so much. I can definitely see how they are cringy and I'm okay with that. I still love them and they still Make my heart go pitter-patter.
Heart's going pitter-patter, pitter-patter. I feel sick, like I could throw up.
I absolutely loved Allie as a character. I loved that she was this very strong female character that could still admit that she had some problems with being dependent on a guy for some of her happiness, and I just really liked that was showcased, that it's not that she was a girl who, I don't know, couldn't do anything for herself or anything, but she realized that she just needed to be on her own a little bit and to love herself and not require the love of a man. And I love that was a storyline in this book. At first, when I finished it, I immediately thought that these would all go to number 1, but I almost feel like I need to read the deal again. I'm like conflicted already. But okay, so definitely number 1 favorite female character is Allie. So Allie, Hannah, then Grace. For boys, oh, this is so hard. I think I'll have to put Dean at number 1 and Garrett at number 2 and then Logan at 3. Oh, but I don't know. I love Garrett. Like, they are so close. If they could just share a number 1 spot, that'd be ideal. As for the books, I should have like written this down because this is just gonna be 5 minutes of me thinking about this. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put the deal at number 1 still, the score at number 2, and then the mistake at number 3 so far. I was so excited about this book because we follow Dean and Allie, and we do get to see them throughout the other 2 books, and so I kind of went in knowing that I liked both of the characters, which might have also kind of skewed my view of Logan and Grace because we hadn't seen Grace in the first book and we only got little tiny glimpses of Logan, whereas by the time we got to Dean and Allie's book, Allie was Hannah's roommate, so we had seen a lot of her and I knew that I liked her, and we had seen a decent amount of Dean and gotten to know his character, and so I went in already knowing that I really liked them. The story just also felt very, very different because we don't focus as much on their family trauma. I mean, family's definitely still a big part of the story, but it just didn't feel as similar. Like, Dean comes from a great family and Allie does too, but she's just had some things happen, like her mom passed away and her dad has, I think, MS, and so she's going through some hardships there, but it's not the same struggles that Logan and Garrett went through, even though theirs aren't the same, but hopefully you catch my drift. So overall, definitely loved the score. Next up was The Goal, and the story follows John Tucker and Sabrina James, I think is her last name.
I also didn't give a synopsis for this book either. Lol, I guess I forgot that's literally my job. Anyway, Sabrina is focused on getting into Harvard Law School and is basically Dean's arch nemesis. John Tucker cooks food for his teammates and doesn't do much else besides call Sabrina darling. There is also a whole plot I can't talk about because of spoilers. Back to the vlog we go.
I am on the final book, which honestly I don't even know the name of. What is it called? I just started it. The Goal. The Goal is what it's called. One thing I like about The Goal is it's taking place at the same time as the score, and so I really like that. It almost makes it feel like a TV show where you have a bunch of different characters that you're kind of following all at once, because there are things that are happening where I'm like, ooh, I know where Dean was when this was happening, you know what I mean? So far, I don't know how I feel about Tucker yet. I've really liked him in the previous books, but for some reason, he is like way countrified in this one. I guess I just didn't really think about it in the other ones because he wasn't a super relevant character. He just kind of cooked for everybody. I'm only, I think, 4 chapters in, and he is constantly like darling, wearing his little cowboy boots and driving his pickup truck, and I just don't think I was aware of how country he was, which is fine. No hate on the country boys.
Country boy I love you.
I don't know how I feel about Sabrina. Her first chapter, like, took me by surprise. Didn't know her home life was as it was, but I know from the end of the score what's kind of happening in this book, so we'll see. So I will update you when I am further along. Good morning, guys. It is Saturday morning. I just woke up not too long ago, so excuse the look for today. I'm about 200 pages in on chapter 25 and I have some thoughts. I am bored. I just don't find any of the characters that entertaining. Tucker he seems like a great dude, but he seems so boring. Like, his only personality trait is that he is Southern, he's from Texas, and then he calls her darling. Tucker is someone, he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, really. He doesn't want to play hockey. It seems like he doesn't really have any ambitions or like any personality, and like he needs something, because right now he's just boring. Sabrina's kind of the opposite. She has her life like pretty much planned out and everything, and she is not the nicest girl. She's definitely rude. I can see why people don't like her. I do understand why she is the way she is, though, because like she's just very hardworking and she gets irritated when things are just handed to people, which like I get, like that's fine. I definitely don't dislike her as much as I've seen other people say they disliked her, but she's still not my favorite at all. This is also a slight spoiler for the score and the goal, so if you don't want like a single spoiler, just skip to this timestamp. But so there is an unplanned pregnancy. When they say it happened, I find it so unrealistic that it happened like this, and I don't want to go into like details about it. We'll try to keep it PG on this channel, but I think if you've read this, you know how it happens, and I just feel like so much would have to be working against you for this to happen, because when I read it, I thought it was kind of foreshadowing. And I've read Amazon reviews, Goodreads reviews, trying to see if anybody also said the same thing that I did, like, oh, it's kind of unrealistic. And I haven't found anybody that said anything like that. Like, they're just kind of going along with it. And so if you've read this, I want to know if that threw you off, if you were like, not buying it, because I am just not buying it. It seems so, I don't know. But anyway, I think that like since this is the last book, like until I get to the Briar U series, that I know that Tucker and Sabrina are not going to live up to like my favorite two couples, and so I think that's why their book is just kind of like it's dragging for me. It's really hot outside today, so we are planning on going swimming, and so I'm going to read some more. I'm kind of hoping to finish it. I have, how many pages do I have? 140-ish pages left, so we'll see if I can do that today. Probably not, but high hopes. I saw a lot of reviews that said that they didn't like Sabrina as a character, and I didn't really dislike her. I mean, she's not super likable. She's kind of willing to do whatever she needs to do to be successful. She's very selfish, but I think that the way she grew up kind of forced her to do that, since she didn't really have anybody else looking out for her. So while I don't think I would be like best friends with her or anything, I didn't dislike her because I very much understood why she was the way that she was. This was another book that was just kind of a letdown, and I think I kind of knew it would, because you took two of my favorite characters in the entire series and put them together, and then we kind of went to this one where, again, I wasn't super familiar with the characters that we had, and so I ended up deciding to give this book 3 stars, just like The Mistake. It was good, and I enjoyed my time reading it, but it did drag a little bit, and I wasn't super convinced on their chemistry. I don't know why Tucker liked her so much, to be honest. She does have a lot of drive. She's pretty. They have a situation that comes up in the story, but he was so mellow about everything that I don't know. I don't know how to feel about him. I also did not like his whole Southern drawl type vibe he had going on. He called her darling constantly. I do think he was a very sweet guy. He really stepped up when Sabrina needed him. He didn't force her into anything, kind of gave her the time she needed to sort all of her stuff out, which I really appreciated about him. But he just was boring. Again, kind of like it's the Johns that I just didn't click with in the book. John Tucker, John Logan, they just were kind of boring. They didn't stick out to me. And I think that with Garrett and Dean, they both had such distinctive personality traits that I really just was drawn to with them. Overall, I really did enjoy the series. I think my final ranking will start with, let me scoot over. So I think the #1 spot has to go to Dean. I thought he was funny, sarcastic, witty, amazing. I loved him. Very close second though is Garrett Graham. He was just the sweetest guy. I just loved him. I loved his patience with Hannah. I loved everything. #3 spot, I think I have to give to John Tucker. Even though he's boring, he keeps to himself. He kind of just worries about what he's doing. He cooks for all the guys. That's a great quality. We love a man that can cook. And then the 4th spot, unfortunately, John Logan. I'm sorry. I know that I will probably get hate for this, but I just think that he, unlike John Tucker, needs to focus more on himself, because he was very focused on just trying to get a girlfriend throughout the book. And I don't know, I didn't vibe with John Logan, but that's okay. Very much vibed with Garrett and Dean, so that's all we really need. Next up, I will rank the girls. So #1 spot, my queen, Allie Hayes. She's great, love her. Next was Hannah Wells. I also loved her a lot. I think she is such a sweet character. She does get a little cringy throughout the series as we kind of see her in things. Specifically the running scene. Still loved her. She was so great in the deal, and I love that she is sprinkled out throughout the entire series after that. I think I am going to change my original thought in my head. I think I'm gonna make Grace #3, because the more I think about it, I did really like her in the beginning. She is immature. I did enjoy her rambles. She was funny at times, but I definitely didn't like parts of her story. I thought that she kind of just caused things to cause things. I don't know. She was a bit much for me. #4, Sabrina James. Mainly because she really didn't give John Tucker a chance throughout the book. I think that she was just kind of, I don't know, not stringing him along, but there were times where it was just kind of like, why are you holding back? Why don't you just get with him? I said I understood her, and then now that I'm talking about her, I think she was kind of rude and not the nicest. But she also had an awful family situation. Like, her stepdad Ray was absolutely disgusting, and I hated reading about him. Not that you're supposed to enjoy it, so it's not anything to do with the writing or anything, but just he was gross, he was disgusting. So now I'm gonna rank the books, and I don't remember what I rated them as I went along, because I was kind of just rambling after I read each one. But I thought about it. I've decided these are my final rankings of the books in the off-campus series. I'm gonna start from my least favorite to my favorite, just for, you know, dramatic effect. So in the #4 spot is The Goal. I just think it dragged a little bit. It covers a lot more serious topics. Again, much like The Deal, look up trigger warnings for this one. #3 is The Mistake. I did enjoy some parts, but I just didn't think that their chemistry was really there. I think that John Logan kind of just wanted a girlfriend, and that's kind of why he went for Grace. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not. #2 was The Score. Even though Dean and Allie were my favorites, I just liked the #1 spot, The Deal, just a little bit more. I really loved reading from Dean and Allie. Their story was very fun, very steamy, but I just think that Garrett and Hannah had so much heart in their story. It went a little deeper and I just loved that so much. I think that we really saw their love blossom in that book, and Dean and Allie start off as kind of a friends with benefits situation, so it's not really that buildup of just strictly a relationship happening, which is fine. It's just, I just happen to like the Deal's storyline a little bit more, but I do think that the tension that builds between Dean and Allie is just amazing. And so that being said, the Deal and the Score were both 5-star reads for me. I ended up really loving them, but I think I still liked the Deal just like a smidge more. So overall, I would definitely recommend this series. I do wish that I would have read them when I was a little younger, maybe early college, because I think that I would have enjoyed reading from the college experience a little more. Now that I am 26 and out of college, out of grad school, I mean, I'm not super connected to, you know, the college lifestyle anymore, but it was really fun to read from. I definitely enjoyed it. If for some reason you don't have an interest in reading certain books in the series, you don't really have to. They can definitely be read as standalones. There are mentions to other couples and some other situations in the other books, but I don't think it's anything that you couldn't follow along with. But that being said, I did enjoy the series. TikTok, you got me. It was a good one. There is some really cheesy dialogue. There's some stuff that kind of was eye roll worthy. I've mentioned it before, but the Hannah running scene really threw me for a loop when she's running and sings "Take Me to Church." It was so weird. I do want to read Briar You, so if you would like to see a reading vlog, comment down below, let me know. And if you have read the off-campus series, let me know who your favorite characters were, what your favorite book was. I would be so interested to know. I see it all over my TikTok For You page, and since reading them, I've been obsessed with seeing who everybody's favorite is. But that being said, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you feel so inclined. It really helps my tiny little channel out. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!